Hey guys, this is Tom Nechville and Danny Stewart here, coming to you from Turtle Hill Banjo Company and the home of Nechville Banjos East. We want to make a quick video and show you guys some common Nechville banjo adjustments that you would typically do if you had one of these banjos.
Yeah, so we pulled out a banjo that's in stock here at Banjos East at Turtle Hill Banjo. And this is one that came from the factory, and as sometimes happens, the heads are at a tension level that is somewhat relaxed. The tension on the head can sometimes relax itself a little bit. So what we want to do is check the sound and just kind of see how it sounds. And there's a special tool that we want to advocate as a tool that every banjo player should have one of these.
Yep.
And this is called a drum dial, and it was the original one. I think it's they're very consistent between one and the other. And if you calibrate it against a piece of glass, the needle goes all the way around to 0, and that's where you want it to be. And when you use it on your banjo, it comes around not to 0, it comes around to about 87, 86 on this one. So we're under 90. So the secret number to remember when you're using your drum dial is get it up to 90 on the drum dial, or maybe a little bit more if you really want a sharp sound. So let's let me just, maybe you can get a close-up of this one. Here it is at 80, 88. Let's see how that looks there. 80, 88, right? Okay. And so let's see how it sounds. It actually doesn't sound bad at all. So anyway, there it is. And so there's a warm undertone and a really warm sound, and I can kind of feel it reverberating on my belly. But I would like to sharpen this up a little bit. So let me just show you how to do that. And there's two things that happen. We not only brighten the sound, but we are changing the physical head location. We're actually tightening the head, and on a heel mount, you're raising the entire tone ring up when you're tightening the head. So the bridge is going to be, we're going to be raising our action, and our action's already a little bit tall. So what I may do is actually change the bridge as well, and that's another setup factor that we can consider. So let's take this here, and I'll grab the wrenches. Here's one wrench. Here's another wrench. Choose any two holes on the heel mount and plug the wrenches in all the way, and then counterclockwise makes the ring turn clockwise. So we're actually tightening the head right now. Notice how the ring is turning clockwise while our wrenches are turning counterclockwise. So you start to gradually feel more tension. And so I'm going like, most people would be afraid to go more than a few cranks, especially when it becomes resisting like this. But you can go farther than you would imagine, as long as the wrenches are plugged in all the way to deeply into the holes. And sometimes you might just move the wrenches to the next set of holes, so you're not causing an undue strain on any one part of the banjo, and then try it again for a few cranks. And I'm doing this extremely, to an extreme, so that you can really hear a difference when I go back and play it. But I'm afraid that my action's going to be really tall, which I don't know, you can kind of see that my action's almost a quarter of an inch there, so that's a little bit too tall, but you can hear a difference in the sound. Do you want to grab me that resonator? And we're also going to be sharp, so bear with me while I quickly
because we just raised the entire head completely up.
We raised the head and the tension on the head. it's really bright. Okay, so now let's deal with the action. Okay, really quick.
Yeah.
You don't need to take off the resonator, but the resonator's off, and so it'll be easier to deal with the resonator off. And there's two ways of dealing with this. The easiest way would be to put on a new bridge, and the other way would be to adjust the neck angle. So if you don't have a bridge, I'll do the neck angle first. You all have one of these 5/32 Allen wrenches, and what I will do is loosen my strings a little bit, loosen this, push down the back of the neck a little bit, and then when we look at our action again, notice how, I don't know if you saw it before, but we had action that was like a 1/4 inch high. Now it's really low action. And so that's great. Okay, that's fine. But my next thing would be to tune it up and see if I like my action that low. And it's a little bit of trial and error. So let's see. That's really easy to play, man. It's so low, but it still works. Maybe we should put the resonator on and give it a shot. Now I have another idea with a tall bridge. This is a 3/4 bridge, and it's also a 2.7 gram bridge, which is really a heavy bridge in comparison to the average banjo bridge, which is more like close to 2 grams. This one's quite a bit heavier, and so that'll add to the sustain of the sound. So, and this is fine for somebody that wants really responsive plus really low action. So what I think I'll do next is take I'm gonna probably bring this back to a more average setup, which would mean a lower bridge and a little bit higher action. So I have a bunch of bridges at my disposal. Here's one right away that can be grabbed, and I'm just gonna lay it in there, take my old bridge out. And this bridge is just a little bit lower. It's about the same weight, actually. They're both listed as 2.6 grams, but I think that this one is going to be a little more appropriate for this banjo. Now here I'm going to put the bridge in the right place and intonate it. So that means I have a more reasonable bridge on here. It's about, I would say, a little less than 3/4 this time. And our action's coming in right where it's going to be a little louder because there's a little bit more room and the strings have room to breathe and resonate. So I'm using the 19th fret harmonic chime where you touch the string and then let it go. And you hear that bell-like sound, and then you immediately play the note afterwards, the same fret. Now you hear it's a sharper fretted note, right?
Yep.
It's a little sharp, so if we move the bridge back, we'll intonate it perfectly there. So a little better. So a little sharp, right? So you if I try this again, we might have a winning combination. And there's so many different ways of dealing with the action. The action is set by the neck angle, also by the bow in the neck, and how tight the head is, and how tall the bridge is, and to a minute degree how much tension there is on the tailpiece. So as long as we're mentioned the tailpiece, I'll grab the Allen wrench that fits in the lower screw of the tailpiece, and what I do is I begin to turn this wrench until I can feel the tension on it, and I see the tailpiece beginning to move down. Now I'll release it, tighten it again, release it, tighten it again, release it, tighten it again, and so I'm just leaving it right at the neutral position,
right,
where there's only a little bit of tension on there. Now, if you want to make it sound like your head is brighter and tighter, and you don't want to tighten your head anymore, or you feel like you don't want to change the action or anything, you maybe want to lower the action, then you can tighten this down. Then you're lowering your action a little bit, and you're also making a sharper sound. So if we do that, I guess it would be kind of fun to hear it now. I'm going to be sharp again. I would say that if you take a Nechville banjo out of the box, a lot of times it's a warmer, kind of a smooth, creamy sound. And with a little bit of tension on the tailpiece and the head as tight as it is, really snappy, right?
Awesome.
All right, so I'll put this back to neutral and see if it kind of opens up the sound a little bit more. Yeah, it's got a lot of now it's got everything, I think.
Awesome.